What's going on, Exile? Welcome to my Lacerate JUGG that's incredibly tanky and definitely an option for hardcore players as well. It's a good all-around character with decent clearing speed as well as good single target damage. I run all of the content in this video with a 5 link and my main weapon is nothing but an on smite. And like you can see in the video right now, the guardians aren't exactly an issue even with a 5 link, so with further investment you can do some serious damage. So once again, welcome, and now let's have a look at all the items that I use for this build. The unique items that I use for this build is first of all the on smite sword, which is cheap and has very high physical damage. And because of my Juggernaut, naturally I also went for the Abyss's helmet, since I can easily help mitigate the extra damage that I receive and take full advantage of all the extra damage that it gives me. For chest I went for the brass dome for the high armor and that you receive no extra damage from critical strikes. Unfortunately, the brass dome also reduces your movement speed by 10%, so if you would rather use something like a belly of the beast instead, then that would work very well. Lastly, I use a pair of combs roots for the high life as well as the immunity to stuns and freeze. For rares I went for life and resist on most of my items. For the offhand I went for a shaped stat stick, which means that anything but an axe or a sword will make me attack only with my main hand. After that I went for added physical damage, some extra intelligence and then some crit multiplier on the amulet. For jewels I went for life, physical damage and attack speed, but I also made sure that one of my jewels had some mana leech on it. For flasks I went for an eternal life flask with immune to bleeding, and that serious promise, a lion's roar, a diamond flask with immune to curses, and then an onslaught flask. And the reason I use an onslaught flask instead of a quicksilver flask is that I mostly use leap slam to move around rather than running. For gems, the main setup that I use is Lacerate, and with that I use melee physical damage, maim, concentrated effect, and multi-strike. Optionally you can switch out conk effect for increased AoE while mapping, and if you get a 6 link then you can add bloodlust on top of that. And then against bosses that you have to be constantly moving, I'll switch out multi-strike for something like ruthless instead. And then I use 2 defensive setups, one with cast from damage taken level 2, summon ice golem level 4, blood rage level 8, and then I have Vaal haste in there. And in my helm I use cast from damage taken level 1, blade vortex level 8, blind support, and assassin's mark level 5. For my movement setup I use leap slam, and with leap slam I use faster attacks and fortify. And then in my offhand I use herald of ash, ancestral protector, and hatred. For skills, these are the progressions that I went with. Please feel free to pause the video and screenshot if necessary. I picked up no major keystones at all, but instead focused on physical and sword damage, a lot of extra life, some crit and crit damage, as well as some attack speed. For Ascendancy, I went for undeniable for the plus 1000 accuracy rating, as well as increased attack speed and increased damage. And then I went for unflinching, so I have a chance to gain an endurance charge whenever I'm hit, as well as plus 1 to maximum endurance charges. Thirdly, I went for unrelenting, so I get physical damage reduction for every endurance charge, as well as reduced elemental damage taken when I'm at maximum endurance charges. This works very well together with my helmet Abysses. And then lastly I went for unbreakable for the life regen and the reduced damage taken, as well as doubling the armor that I receive from my body armor. For Pantheon I went with Soul of Lunaris as Major God for the physical damage reduction and the chance to avoid projectiles, as well as some dodge chance to attacks and spells. But if you decide to go with the belly of the beast instead of a brass dome, then I would actually go with Soul of Solaris instead. For Minor God I went with Soul of Gruthkul for additional physical damage reduction, as well as after capturing Erebix, enemies that hit me get reduced attack speed. For bandits, either help Alira or kill them all. For leveling, I always recommend using a tabula rasa. I leveled with Molten Strike from level 1 until level 12 when I switched over to Lacerate. I combined Molten Strike with Ancestral Call at level 4 and then added the added damage gems at level 8. Once you hit level 12 and you start using Lacerate, then you can remove Ancestral Call and start using Ruthless and Maim together with that instead. Other unique items that I use for leveling are the Red Beak Swords, Wanderlust Boots, Black Heart Rings, and the Magnet Belt. The main pros for this build is that it's a tanky all around and beginner friendly character. It's also pretty cheap, but with a bit more investment it can become very strong. The main cons for this build is the obvious reflect issues, but it's also that since it's a good all around character, it's not totally focused on either killing bosses and clearing maps, which can be an issue to some people.